Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Gilmore Girls, Season 1, Episode 17, The Breakup Part 2.
I like this show.
Do you have any big feelings about this one?
No.
It was pretty
No, it was
regular.
Yeah. No, it just was very much a part 2 type of episode.
Yeah.
So I don't fully hate Tristan. I feel better about Tristan, but I'm annoyed because of course he would, but he apologized to her and they talk about the breakups or whatever, and then he kisses her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was not the time.
Well, no, it wasn't the time, but I do have to stress that I don't believe there was a single, preying on vulnerability aspect to it.
No, I didn't feel that. It was just more or less like, of course you would. It just...
He
leads me very mouth forward.
Sure, yeah. I mean... Also, can we talk about how terrible Summer is for a second?
Trash.
Terrible.
Get your D, girl, but come on.
Also, absolutely, there is nobody at this party that's hotter than Tristan. That Justin Timberlake looking fool came up on Louise? No, there's nobody in this party that is hotter than Chad Michael Murray.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Sure. He just doesn't do it for me, in any way, shape, or form.
Well, and I even tried to show you the pictures of him, currently, and it's still a no.
Yeah.
He's so hot to me.
Just another one we don't have to fight over.
You're gonna have to suck it up. He's a pretty terrible character on Dawson's Creek, too.
Great. So excited.
Not until later, in college, he's, in some of the college seasons. Okay, I have to warn you, he doesn't stay like this. He regresses a bit.
Oh, I know.
And then it's
trust me, he was raw from being dumped and being embarrassed. So trust, I am not holding my breath.
But I did, the reason why I like him is because of scenes like this. And he gets a couple more in season 2 where it's you can tell there's a sincere person underneath all of the high school bluster.
Right. And he's still choosing to be a fucking gross dude.
I think it's for protection.
Whatever.
I find him so captivating.
Protection from what?
From the other kids who are terrible.
Right. So, but you could still be a nice person and then just I don't know.
I do think it's kind of a holdover from 80s high school stuff.
Yeah.
Because Amy Sherman-Palladino is a decent amount older than us. Mm-hmm. And so she's got a different framework for high school.
I guess, yeah. Just because I don't know, sometimes I'll watch the bully stuff, especially from the 80s and the 90s, and I was just that was just not my experience. Yeah. But also, anytime anyone tried to say something sideways, I shut it down so quick.
Sure.
Well, and I also just had an air about me of you peon, get away from me.
The thing that so two things. Once I think it was when we were watching either Gossip Girl or Riverdale, and some of the Ryan Murphy stuff, I came to this realization within the last 5 to 10 years where I was the people who are currently writing high school dramas for Hollywood were in high school at the same time as us.
Yeah.
So it's the high school dramas we grew up on, this and 90210 and Dawson's Creek, those are written by people who went to high school in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it was the Wild West. We think we were the Wild West. The 80s were the fucking Wild West.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that brings me to is the most recent season 4 of Stranger Things, where it was a high school junior got together a literal mob.
Oh, yeah.
And they were going to kill a 12-year-old girl. His buddy was going to kill Erica.
And then we think back at
they physically fought.
Yeah, but then we think back at Dazed and Confused and that whole high school situation, and everyone was just high and just vibing and whatever. But then
Richard Linklater, I think, had a third different experience in high school.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just feel with the 80s, because everyone was all of a sudden just making all this money, and it was,
there was
greed is good, and I think that trickled down to the kids.
There was also a way more delineated class structure, where it's the really rich kids super look down on the really poor kids, kind of a thing.
And now we're all poor.
Now we're all poor.
Now we're all poor.
No one can afford fucking designer jeans. Yeah. But I do just sort of find that really interesting. Once I realized, because I was watching some of this stuff when I was in high school, and I was like, this just isn't really.
Yeah,
these high school dynamics don't work, and I wasn't really able to vocalize it till I was older. Where I was like, yeah, of course not. High school kids aren't writing this show.
Yeah,
kids who are adults who went to high school 15 years ago are writing this show.
Yeah,
so it makes a lot more sense when you realize that like this is what adults like remember from the haziness of when they were in high school. They have no current direct experience to what kids are actually going through.
My whole thing too with stuff like this is the size of the parties.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really go to parties in school, but like on the rare occasion that I did that were like popular, because I mean we had the after parties for theater and stuff. Or cast parties.
It was like 30 kids max.
And I'm sorry. Any like cool kid party did not rival a cast party at all. You want to talk about some debaucherous shit? Go to a theater kid party.
Also, go on the band trip.
Yes! People be fucking like at those. People be fucking like crazy.
As a former band kid, I can confirm the first time anybody touched my boobs was on the band trip.
Yeah. No, I think the first time I made out with someone was at like a cool kid party.
I just didn't say it was the first time I made out with somebody. I said it was the first time someone touched my boobs.
I think the first time someone touched my boobs was the boyfriend I talked about in the last episode that said he loved me and then I just ghosted.
Sure.
But he did it once and I was like, I had already hated them.
Yeah.
And so he had this Cubs shirt that I really wanted. And so I made him believe that if he let me wear that Cubs shirt, anytime I wore the Cubs shirt, he could touch my boobs. And
then you just never wore it in front of him?
No, I took it home.
Yeah.
And then
never saw it again. Amazing. Okay, so basically, to go back to the beginning of this episode, the morning after the breakup, well, she refuses to tell Lorelai, like, why.
Yeah.
She's like, he just didn't want to be my boyfriend anymore, which is, I mean, not true, but like it's not the whole story.
There's context.
And Lorelai is like, you have to tell me what's going on. Like I don't know what's going on. You have to tell me something. And she doesn't. And so then the next day she wakes Lorelai up at the crack of dawn and is like, we have a billion things to do. Let's go do it. And it's like a lot of silly things, like getting a garden hose and like all kinds of stuff. A soap dish, stuff that doesn't matter, but she's like trying to fill her time. And Lorelai wants her to wallow because she's like, you just kind of have to. Like when it's also your first boyfriend, it's like a big deal. You just kind of have to. And she is like, I refuse. I will not do it. So they're going on all these errands, but then they can't go one way to get to Luke's because it goes past the school. And when he's not working, he goes over there to play football. And they can't go the other way because it's down Peach Street and Dean lives on Peach Street. And they can't go the other way because maybe he is working at the market, but I don't really know. So they cut through, like, the back alley and come into Luke's through an entrance you never see again.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. And it's, like, super busy, and Lorelai has no idea why, and it's because this is the 6 a.m. crowd. I love all the jokes about it being too early in the morning. And basically then sort of everyone just finds out about the breakup, and so Lorelai gets Patty to actually spread the word so that the town would just be like, they'll know, but they won't really, like, do anything about it. Rachel's also there. She's let Luke sleep in, which seems crazy.
Yeah.
And he offers, or here, Lorelai asks him to make fancy chocolate pancakes for Rory because of the breakup, and he's like, I love how much he loves Rory.
I know.
He loves her so much.
He really does.
So he puts whipped cream on it, and he's like, oh, like, he's just not good enough.
I thought of the best game that we could play while we watch this show. So we'll finish the series and then we'll go back and start at the beginning.
Oh no.
Every meal that they order and don't eat, we get to eat it.
Oh. We will weigh 5,000 pounds.
They stay ordering food and not eating it.
They do, yeah.
And I'm tired of it.
That's like so
wasteful.
That's such just like a TV thing too.
I hate it.
Like
no,
it happens
I have never, not at this level.
Not this much,
it's constant. Yeah. Constant. They order coffee, they drink coffee. They order food, no one touches it.
Yeah.
Or it never comes. I'm just,
Okay, so there is, I think it's season 3. Yeah, season 3. Where they have 4 Thanksgiving dinners.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
In one day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they have to do, Richard and Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they go to the Kims, and then they go to Luke's, and then they go to Suki's.
Oh, wow.
So they do all 4.
Wow.
Yeah. That's actually one of my favorite Melissa McCarthy performances of her entire career.
Really?
Because she gets drunk. Because Jackson wants to deep fry the turkey.
Oh.
And she freaks out. And so she's just like hammered on like Thanksgiving margaritas.
Oh, I love that.
And she is it's classic Melissa McCarthy before you knew what that meant. It's so fun.
She had a moment in this episode where when Lorelai walks in,
yeah,
and then she like realizes it's Lorelai like at the thing, but I couldn't even do it if I tried.
She's just like, oh,
she goes, oh,
yeah.
she goes, oh, hey,
yeah,
and like it's just a perfect like Melissa McCarthyism is great.
It's fantastic. Her performance in that whole scene. Jackson has come over. So basically, Rory decides to go to the party with Lane.
Mm-hmm.
To the Chilton party with Lane at Madeline's house. And so she takes the Jeep. So Lorelai decides that she wants to go see Max. So she goes to Suki to borrow her car. But Jackson is there making Suki dinner, which is so nice. But she's been kicked out of the kitchen for interfering too much. Mm-hmm. Because Jackson is trying to be like, you cook all day for other people. I want to cook for you to be nice. And he is like a farmer. He knows how to like cook things. He's not, inept at it or whatever. But he just is so frustrated with her. He's like, I'm trying to be romantic and this is ridiculous. And she can like hear the sound of him using a pan that's the wrong size to sweat the onions in and stuff. It's hysterical. And she gets like that sometimes where it's like kind of manic and distracted from like what's actually happening. It's very funny. So anyway, she borrows the car from Suki and she goes to see Max in Hartford and they just sort of like immediately start making out.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. And then they end up sleeping together, but then they have a really tired conversation about what does this mean? And we still can't be together and like all of this. And I actually will say, I like Max's suggestion. We just need to like talk on the phone on a regular basis and get to the bottom of this. My biggest issue is you are only going to be Rory's English teacher for like 2 more months. If this show is taking the real world timeline, it is currently March. School ends in May. Like, come on.
It was fine before. Yeah. You just don't go to Chilton.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Just hang out in Stars Hollow. Headmaster Charleston is not going to go to Stars Hollow.
Right. And it's like, they don't give a shit about Rory. So never mind. So I was about to be like, headmaster or whatever. They don't care about them doing it in front of Rory or whatever. So
it's just about the like, it's just about the like potential impropriety of it. Okay, well, but again, like just get back together over the summer. You're not going to be Rory's teacher anymore. You'll have nothing like.
Right. And then have sleepovers at his house. And it's just whatever. I don't know.
It's pretty ridiculous.
I hate it.
Yeah. And then so at the party, I also like that this is sort of an initial turning point of Paris and Rory's friendship too, because Paris is like dying to leave, but her mother will not let her come home until 10:30, which is sort of hilarious. So they talk a little bit about like the party and the kids at school, and like we find out that Paris wants to do cancer research. That's why she wants to go to Harvard. And Rory's impressed. She's like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, that's great." And Lane meets Henry, the only other Korean person at the party.
And I get that she wants to do the rebellious thing and like find a boy that her parents won't approve of, but it's just like, but he's perfect. He's everything that you want or that your parents want.
So like basically her deal going forward with Henry is she does like him. He is interesting, but she can't handle the fact that she knows her parents would approve.
Yeah.
And she was like, once they know about him, they'll approve and I won't like him anymore. I get it.
Yeah. No, I do too.
But it is also like, come on, man.
Yeah. You like him. Yeah. Just like him.
So there's a whole plot line with Henry. We get Henry for like quite a while.
Oh, good. I liked him.
And after Henry, we get Adam Brody.
Ah!
Until he got the OC.
Ah!
This show is littered with men who, like, came on the show and were amazing and then literally disappear because they got another job on the WB.
I love Adam Brody.
I know. Or the OC came on Fox, I think, regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the only other thing at the party is that, Summer breaks up with Tristan, and they end up having a really nice talk at the piano, and then he kisses her, and she starts crying and runs away. And then she's ready to wallow at home with gallon tubs of Ben & Jerry's that I've literally never seen in my life in the wild.
Yep. I want it.
I wonder if it's like a catering thing. Like, I wonder if it's like craft services had big tubs of Ben & Jerry's.
Oh, maybe. I think, so they probably have it like wholesale. We just can't get it retail-wise. I know. I would definitely handle that.
It's like we need to go to the Jenny's scoop shop that's in Winter Park Village now because I need to know if I can buy pints from there because getting pints from, like, purchasing them online is prohibitively expensive.
Well, literally name a time and we will go.
Yeah. We should. But yeah, that is basically it for this episode. We had no Gilmores.
We did not mention Luke put Dean in a headlock.
Oh my god, yes.
And it was incredible.
It is ill-advised. He is an adult and Dean is a teenager and also taller than him, but
sometimes they just need to be put into a headlock.
It is very fun. He also is like, you can't get coffee at my diner anymore. Get the fuck out of here. So I think he starts going to the bakery instead. Good. It's very funny. And how literally everybody like rallies around Rory and is like, even Kirk was like really, it was his floppy hairstyle. I should have warned you. It's so funny. I love Kirk. We're about to start getting Kirk the way he continued. Like he's the weirdest person in town. But he like it starts snowballing his weirdness.
Cool.
But yeah, it was a great episode. I love this one. This for me, even though there's backsliding, is like when I started being like, oh, Tristan. I love that fucking schmuck with a heart of gold though. It's like
I prefer a grump with a heart of gold than a schmuck. Fine.
Luke is more of a grump for sure. Well, you don't have to deal with Tristan too much longer. He's not in like a ton of season 2, so.
God. Goodbye.
I love him so much. All right. Well, that is it for us. Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.